Best Real Estate Company. I am a principal broker here with you. I'm Kate Thompson, and this is the latest episode of the Best Real Estate Company's Friday Focus. And I am super excited to be here with you guys today. And very elated to be able to share this next chapter with you guys from the book. I know that at least one of you are reading it, which makes me feel great that someone else is reading along with me, and they actually had some really good feedback for where they are so far. And so we're on actually part 2 of the book now. I've already finished it, just so you guys know, but I'm trying to go step by step to just kind of use the book as a way to give us some little reminders and things that we, tend to forget, some of us, about how to communicate with our customers and things of that nature. And really wanted to bring some news to you guys that I think is really interesting and might be exciting and a way for us to have some opportunities in terms of sales for the rest of this year and the upcoming year. I've been to several different events here in the last couple weeks. One of the things that I don't think I've really talked a lot about with you guys, but I think it's a great opportunity not only for us to help our community, but for us to be able to generate certain incomes for ourselves, to be able to help our own family out and save some money even. And that is the big push for urban farming. So I'm not exactly remembering off the top of my head where I actually brought that topic up, but it is there is other information that I've shared on a previous podcast about urban farming, and basically how we have a need for that in a multitude of states across our country. Tennessee, according to USDA and the local farmers, because I've actually, not just me, but some other people within our local community have really made some inroads in communicating with a lot of the local farmers in our area. And I just wanted to share some information about that starting out. The fact is that in our state, we have quite a large percentage of people who are living in what they call food deserts. And basically, a food desert is the same as like a healthcare desert, or it's a place where there's services or resources that are lacking. And so in the state of Tennessee, we have lots of places that are lacking access to healthy food options, fruits, vegetables, meat, dairy, things of that nature. We have people that are having to, figure out how to travel like long distances in some instances for them to be able to, get good quality food. And it has become such an issue that the United States Department of Agriculture has reshaped in a lot of ways and streamlined in a lot of ways the processes that they have that make resources available for farmers. And when we in the real estate industry think about USDA, we only think about that housing direct loan. Like, where in the United States can my customer use this loan? So let me put in your address in this tool. And it's going to tell me if this address is eligible or not for you to use your USDA housing financing. And so for those of you who might be new to real estate and haven't gone through my boot camp, which I'm about to put on here in probably the next month, USDA offers 100% financing loan product for housing, depending on where your client is looking to purchase and live in the United States. So the USDA Home Direct Financing, or I think it's called Single Housing Direct, that financing is not available all over. It's not available in urban, what they consider urban areas or densely populated areas. I think their limit is like 35,000. So like, for example, if you're a Mississippi agent, you know this. Even if you're a Tennessee agent, if you're a Tennessee agent, you know that within Shelby County limits, there are very few places. I believe there are some places on the back of Bartlett there where you might be able to use USDA financing, but there's not a lot. Um, it's mostly used for people who are living in, rural areas. And then you have like a good example. That's why I brought up Mississippi first, is because in DeSoto County, which has all of our favorite northern Mississippi cities, Olive Branch, Byhalia, um, which is actually in Marshall County. So it's not in DeSoto, but it's right next to it. But you have Olive Branch, you have South Haven, you have Nesbit, you have the Lewisburg area, you've got Horn Lake, you've got Walls, um, and a few other little areas around in there where USDA financing is available. So in Olive Branch, for example, there are still pockets in Olive Branch where you can use the USDA financing. And there's no pocket in South Haven, though, where you can use it. South Haven has become too municipal in terms of the amount of population that it has there. And so USDA is not a product that you can use in, um, it's not a product that you can use in the USDA financing in. And so basically what for those of you who don't know, you like I said, USDA financing gives you 100% financing that does not include your closing costs and your prepaids. So don't go out and tell people that they can get this USDA loan and they don't need any money, because that may not be true. They will still have closing costs that they would have to cover if the seller of the home that they're purchasing is not willing to cover those. So what you want to say is that it's going to give them 100% financing, meaning they're going to finance 100% of the loan amount. So make sure that you tell people that. And so I'm going to go on and in the same vein as with the farmer. So I have become an urban farmer myself, and so has Tennille in our office. There is a process that you have to go through. It's a real easy process, though, in order to become an urban farmer. And you're probably asking yourself, why would I want to do that? Like, why would I want to become a farmer? And when we think of farmers, we think of all these big, places where there's land and there's like your herding cattle, or we see large fields of like vegetables that people have to pick and things of that nature. Or, um, you may look at it as you need to herd cows or, pigs. You may have to have a lot of money, and none of that is the case. So urban farming is basically farming that's done in the city. Um, And it used to be in Shelby County that you needed to have at least 10 acres of real property available to farm on before they would allow you to have a farm number. And so now they don't have that requirement. They used to want you to own the land before they issue a farm number to you. That is not the case any longer. Renters can also obtain farm numbers, but there is a caveat. The caveat is that the farm number stays with the real property, doesn't come with you when you leave. So I have a couple I had a couple of options of where I could have a farm number set up. You can have as many farm numbers as you want. You can attach multiple properties to one farm number, all that. I strongly suggest, though, that you get one farm number for each property, so that because that farm number is going to transfer if you ever sell that property or whatnot. But basically, what the farm number does is identifies your property with the U.S. Department of Agriculture as a farm, and it allows you to be able to take advantage of a lot of the farming program of the financial programs, I'm sorry, that are available to farmers. They will they can there's grants that are available that you can get to help start your farm, keep your farm going, expand. There are different housing loan programs for farmers aside from that USDA loan that we all know about, that would allow a farmer to purchase a farm um, that's already working, or that's already up and running, or to actually build and add on buildings to the farm that they already have. There's programs to help you to acquire cattle, to acquire materials and things that you need. They give they give resources and financing funding, like I said, both in the terms of loans and grants that will help you to expand to expand your farm operation. Your farm operation doesn't have to be big either. I picked a very small plot of land that I own. It's really like a tenth of an acre, and I am in the process of building raised beds. So I'm not hunched over on the ground planting things. I am actually standing up because I have these raised beds that I'm growing um, plants from, and there's all sorts of things that you can do. They have funding for children too. So if you have kids, they have to be at least 10 years old. But if you have a 10-year-old that has a green thumb that wants to grow a bunch of flowers, or wants to participate in 4-H activities and needs funding to help, you know, improve their chances of being successful at their 4-H, things of that nature, they can do that. So, our farm office, or the Farm Services Administration, our office is located at the Agri Center. Um, the state know that I'm not sure of how far you guys or what you're paying attention to if you travel out Tennessee Highway 14, but if you're going out Tennessee Highway 14 towards Millington, well, it's actually in Millington, but you're driving on out there, you will see a farm. If you're coming from Memphis on the right hand side, it is called the 1604 Farms. 1604 does stand for something, but that is a young um, woman farmer. She's a female. She actually was an accountant by trade, had an accounting degree, worked at a big accounting firm in Nashville. COVID happened. She lost her job because, of the whole COVID meltdown. Her family convinced her to come back to her hometown, which is Millington, because they really was just like, there's no reason for you to be living in Nashville by yourself and you can't work the job, that you were supposed to work. So, make a long story short, she got involved with a small farmer in Millington, and they helped her to get started and acclimated. So now she has, I think it's like 100 acres or something out there. She has all sorts of things out there, horses, a couple cows. She has both milking cows and I think a couple of cows that she keeps a couple of cows at a time that she uses for meat, beef, to both to feed her family and to sell at market or to butchers. She has all sorts of fruits and vegetables out there. It's really good. She does a lot of. Her name is Sheena, by the way, the farmer. She's under. I know she's under 50. And she does a lot of community events. She has her. She sets up a farmer's market once a month for people to come out and buy fresh fruits and vegetables in the Millington area. Usually has a good turnout. She sells other products out there where she's growing. I believe she is. I'm not sure if it's strawberries or I can't remember what the fruit is that she grows. But she grows her fruit and she makes these jams and all of these things. And so I just think it's interesting. If you're looking for um, a new way to maybe utilize real estate and to be able to help your community, farming is definitely a way to do that. And so I encourage you guys to check it out. Again, like I said, if you have any questions about that, let me know, and I'll be happy to share what I have. We also have farming people who advocate for farmers in our area. There is a Pick Tennessee conference that's going on in February. So it's going to have the Tennessee Agritourism Association, the Tennessee Beekeepers Association, Christmas Tree Growers, that's a farm, Wine Growers Alliance, the Tennessee Farm Wine Growers Alliance, Tennessee Association of Farmers Markets, the Tennessee Farmer Veteran Coalition, the Tennessee Fruit and Vegetable Association, and the Tennessee Organic Growers Organization. And they actually do some really cool things for people who are looking to do organic farming and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. I was just looking for some other things over here that I can share with you guys. I have a ton of them. And like I said, if you want more information about it and how you can access those financial resources that come along with being a farmer, let me know. And if you are paying attention actually to the Memphis Business Journal, they have an article in here, the Business Journal, that looks like this. And it's actually dated for 11 through the 17th. So I got this yesterday. And there is a new podcast series that is that is highlighting. It aims to highlight corporate agriculture and wants to attract new corporate agriculture to the area. Is being put on by John Butler, who is the president of the AgriCenter International, and Um, like me, he says he listens to podcasts that either surround the industry, which is the farm industry for him, or leadership podcast. And so he is aiming to put together. Year, and this is the number of residents that they've gotten engaged since 2016. I'm happy to report that I am one of those people that are engaged. You can read the whole 3.0 plan here, find your district, and you can find out things that they're doing in your district. They have news and events that are coming out. They have a data dashboard, so if you're looking for data about how different things are are being tracked and how they're affecting our city, you can look there. And then they have a document dashboard, so if you're looking for specific type of documents, you can find those. Then down here they actually have where you can stay updated. And so I signed up for this a long time ago. And so anytime there's a meeting in my neighborhood or something, I've gone to several meetings about different things, how to manage blight, you know, how do we work to bring more resources like doctors' offices and things to the different areas. And I want to say that people do show up to these meetings. So somebody may live in the Raleigh district, but they come to the Lamar district meeting. So there's all, you don't have to stay restricted to your area if you sign up to get information about that area. In fact, they actually encourage that you come out and see, the different things that are going on for all. So they're having a second workshop where they discuss how our citizens can be involved. You can RSVP online. By yesterday was the last day, and I'm not going to go through all of the programs and things here, but I just wanted to show you that there is a place where you can go and get information about what they're doing in terms of real estate and development. I can also tell you that they that for a while now we've been hearing about this um, renovation for a Northside High School. I know a lot of people went to Northside High School. um, my last year in high school is when I actually came to Memphis. And I think that I do believe Northside High School is still open, but it has since closed. And so they have gotten the plans underway, that completed, and that things are starting to break ground. Northside High School is going to have an $81 million renovation for affordable housing. So they're going to turn the high school into, like I said, safe and affordable housing. It's going to be there's also going to be a community space there. And it's the largest private sector investment in a low income Black neighborhood in the history of the city of Memphis. And so the school was actually closed in 2016 due to low enrollment. Yes, so I do remember it being open when I went there to my high school, which was Oak Haven. I went to school in Oak Haven, my final year. That's when I moved to Memphis. And um, there was also an issue because the local area didn't know what they were planning, and they really didn't want to see their school closed. But now we're understanding what the development project was about. It's going to be called Northside Square. It will provide affordable housing to 42 families. And it will also offer other resources like health, education, and food resources. So they have an entire program set that they're looking to do there in that. There's a multitude of sources that are funding the project. And right now, Memphis has a deficit of about 35,000 affordable homes. And this is according to the National Low Income Housing Coalition, another organization that I'm very much a part of, and really, do as much as I can to support them. And so this is, it's 42 properties or 42 homes, and that is just but a drop in the bucket of the 35,000 affordable homes that we need. But if we are pushing to make this information aware, make it available and make people aware, and hopefully we can raise that and make a change there. Just so you know, on a national level, there's about 45 million renters in the United States. About 21.8 million of them spend about 30% of their income just on rent. And another 11.2 million of those are spending 50% or more on rent. 30% is usually the max that you want to be spending for housing in order to be able to, be sure that you can do other things in a reasonable way as it comes to, having the other basic necessities to live. So when we have so many people spending 50% or more on rent, that becomes an issue. And those people have a harder time being able to save to be able to move over to being a homeowner. And as we all know, as real estate professionals, homeowner is the cornerstone of generational wealth building. So while I do like to operate in the realm of sales for homes, I do think we need to have real estate professionals who can help people to, navigate their process in ways that are legally safe, in ways that, in terms of negotiation and understanding the laws and how they apply to them. We definitely need people to do that. We need real estate agents just like we need investment. So while I am an advocate for is in their price range. So sorry about that. And I can tell you from the few buyers that I've worked with this year that a lot of them are willing to sit it out. Like they're just like, I'm not paying a bunch of rent for a property that I don't own. And I'm not going to pay a lot of money for a house. Especially the younger people. Talked to a young lady just the other day, and I took her to the neighborhood to show her house, and she's like, my friend bought a house over here in this very same neighborhood 2 years ago, and she paid, you know, 3/4 of what you're at, she paid a third less than what you're asking me to pay. They're asking, and it's the same house. She has the same amenities in terms of the granite countertops and whatever. She's like, I'm not doing it. I'll just sit on my money until, there's a house that's in my price range. So I can tell you buyers really are pushing back on these high prices. Y'all have probably heard me talk on every other podcast about the client that I've been showing for 3 years. He finally was able to find a home that he liked, and we were finally able to find a seller that was willing to give him some of the things that he asked for. So I'm happy it all worked out, and that speaks to the last thing that I wanted to talk about today, which was how to control the actions and attitudes of others. This is actually part two. It starts the second portion of our little book that we're reading here. The book is How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. And one of the things that I love from chapter 4, I can't wait for, I'm not going to say who it is that's reading it, but this person was, it's like very, very happy that we got the book out, because she's saying that it's talking to her about things that she had also forgotten, like myself. And so one of the things that the book points out is that it says, it may surprise you to learn that each of us, in his way, is something of a Svengali. Not that we have any such mysterious power as mesmerism over people, but each of us already exercises control over the actions and attitudes of other people. The only trouble is we do not know we are exercising this power, and we often use it against ourselves rather than for ourselves. And so the idea of controlling people is not what you think. They're not saying that you can zap somebody with a laser or something, and or hypnotize them and get them to do what you want to do. Basically, what they're saying is you're controlling that person's actions by how well you control yourself. So if you see someone and you're approaching them and you're thinking, okay, this person, I saw them be rude to someone else 2 weeks ago. So I already know that they're a rude person. So you're going to, because you have that predisposition in your mind about the person, you're going to then put yourself on the defensive. And because of what you believe that person is, you're setting yourself up in your mind to receive what they're telling agent is working with to still have trust in their abilities. And so that's what I did. It all worked out. And I never had any reason to call the attorney again, or to say anything to the attorney. I didn't have any negative feelings toward the attorney because I'm used to people yelling at me or, taking something out on me that an agent, of something that they perceive one of our agents to have done. And so I went on with life. And so it took a couple of years, and another one of our agents had begun to do business with this person. And that agent said, why don't you reach out to my broker? She's very involved in whatever it was. That's when that attorney said, well, I don't think she really likes me because, we had this tense conversation over this deal. And so that agent brought that to me, and I did contact the attorney and say, listen, I don't take this stuff personally. Um, the way that you approached the situation could have been different. But you put me on a defensive when I'm really just trying to solve the problem. And, but because of the training I have had, I understand that there's no way for you to have a personal issue with me because you don't know me. Like, unless, you're someone that believes in biases and stereotypes. And she said, oh, I absolutely am not. So then I have no reason to feel like you would want to attack my person, who I am as a person, without knowing me. And I'll be happy to participate in your event because I thought it was a good idea, the event was. And so me and that person have been able to mend that fence. That attorney has actually shown up for me several times since then. But the first conversation started off negative, and she drove it based on her ideas about how, the client was and how she should handle the situation. And she told me, she said, people don't really know you because you don't go to a lot of the realtor things. And so people just assume that you're unapproachable. And I think I said that in another podcast too. People just think you're unapproachable because they don't see you out. So that's the wrong idea to have about somebody. But I have heard that from more than one person in the real estate community. They're like, you never come to the multi-million-dollar club events. I'm like, I come to support my agents when they invite me. But if I'm not invited by an agent, if there's not someone there for me to celebrate that comes from Best, I could care less about that. And so it did make me believe too, though, what our agent Lisa said, which was that people, we need a face. People do want to see what we're all about, and so it might be to our benefit for you to come out. And I did appreciate her saying that. And so this chapter actually takes you through lots of things, like how to control anger, how to be reminded that enthusiasm is contagious. It says adopt the attitude and action you want the other fellow to express. So if you want your transaction to be an easy transaction, be easy. If you want, the person to, if you're thinking, that it's going to be difficult because you've already had a few issues with someone in the transaction, then that's probably what you're going to get. It gives you a little blurbs on how to put magnetism in your personality. I mean, this chapter was really good. It goes on telling you about how, the walk that you have, your tone of voice, your handshake, all of those things are signs of how you interact with people, and it sets up the scene for how they are going to interact with you. So obviously at the back of the book, they have some little brief things to remember. There's 7 of them now, so I'm not going to read all of these, but I strongly urge you guys to get this book if you haven't. And I also wanted to remind everybody that Best Real Estate Company, we do try very hard to bring you things that we think are vital to helping you have a successful business. Everything from our company store to these podcasts are things that we're doing based on the information that we do receive from our agents, as being things that you want. And so I want to remind everybody that in November, I will be coming out or sending you in your email a survey that is going to ask you to gauge how we are doing in terms of communication, bringing you content and things of that nature. And I want to remind everybody that Best Real Estate Company, we're a transactions-based company. Um, we're making a transaction fee from um, the most of the deals that we get that are closings, and we try to utilize our resources in the best ways that we can to make you feel as supported and as possible. But there's a ton of you, and our staff is very small, so it's very hard to gauge that when we have limited communication and limited participation. And I am in the planning phases for next year in terms of thinking about how we are going to, what we can bring to you. And so it really means a